Hello friends and welcome. Okay, so the oil leak on the tractor here seems to be leaking much better now. You can see the trail of oil coming back here. I don't know if the oil just ran down this way from wherever it's leaking under the center here. I'm not sure. After we resealed the differentials, both sides, I let the tractor run outside for about a half an hour, and I figure I'll pull it in here hot. And it's been 3 days, and we still have a massive oil leak. In the meantime, I had the tractor running outside. I put the governor on this a couple of years ago. I kind of wish I didn't. So I had it running outside here while I was putting the tools away, and then it mysteriously went to full throttle. I couldn't see exactly what was going on because I was in a panic, and I just shut the throttle down, and I grabbed the bell crank and brought it down to idle. So I don't know why the governor, I'll show you what I did with the governor though. As soon as I back this thing out, I'm going to check the oil on it. I'm going to have to run it again to see if we could just see anything by just jacking it up from the back here. I'm not going to go through all the trouble of pulling the wheels off and all that again. But it's a pretty bad oil leak. It seems that after I let it run for about a half hour and it thinned the oil out, that's when the oil really spewed out. Because when we were checking for the oil leak, we couldn't start it up. When I had it jacked up on the jack stands, and the oil was thick then, of course. So after a couple of days, the first time we checked it was like 2 days. I let it sit, and it was really nothing under there, a couple little dribbles. But I'm not really sure what's going on with it. I'll get set up. I'm going to back the tractor out. I'll show you exactly what was going on with the governor. And that's it for now. This has gotten to be a real crazy pain in the ass. Everything seems to be dry under here. This is the drain plug here. So that's dry. I did feel some oil on this side here, where the axle seal is. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to let it down, make sure the oil's full, and then I'll have to run it out here and just jack it up or just visually see if the axle seal's leaking. But I'm going to have to get the oil real hot again here. Okay, so the problem I had, sorry about all this shaking, I gotta get back up again. I started the tractor up. I had it running off of idle. And like I said, I was putting tools away. All of a sudden, this thing just went wide open. It was like a runaway. It went wide open. I ran over, like I told you before, I lowered the throttle down. And then I just grabbed the bell crank here and I just brought it back down to idle. One thing I did do, right over here, this is the linkage. The throttle actually pulls from here. When you hit the throttle, this is the throttle rod here. And it pulls the throttle open. And then when you throttle it up, it'll be full throttle like a regular internal governor engine. And then when you start it up, it'll go down to idle or wherever you have the throttle positioned. So this spring here, you have like 4 holes in here, and it was on the hole closest to the end on this side. I don't think it has that. It might have something to do with it, I don't know. So what I did was I took the spring off and put it on the last hole out towards us here, and I hooked it up. It did this twice. It ran away with itself before I moved this linkage. It never did it before. We tested this about 3 or 4 times already in 2 years. never had a problem with it. So I don't know, some of these have oilers. You lift the cap and put oil in them. I think this is the one that, looking at the service manual, you gotta disassemble it, clean out the old grease and grease it. I'm not sure. I do have another governor. I'll see if I have the governor that just takes oil, and maybe we'll try that. It doesn't even illustrate what kind of oil to put in there if it takes oil. It only has an illustration for this governor where you got to split it apart, clean out the old grease, and put grease in it. So what I'm going to do now is I'll check the oil on it, and then I'm going to start it up and let it run for about a half hour. But that leaked a lot of oil in 3 days. That's a lot of oil. You would think that we could have seen the oil leak without starting and warming the engine up when I had it up on the jack stands. But no. It's not coming up high. We already looked at that. The only thing you would be able to see the oil leak up high is if the engine was running. You'd see where the oil was leaking. This just leaks just sitting there. So I don't know. Could be the right side axle seal itself. I'm not really sure. But all right. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we didn't have the over revving problem, but the right side oil seal is leaking. I think you might be able to see in there. You see a couple of drops down on the board. You could probably zoom in on your camera to see it. And plus I felt oil. Let's see. Down the bottom here. I gotta be careful I don't burn myself on the muffler. Right under here I felt it. So next thing we're gonna have to do is I have to order the oil seals for it. And I'll call Richards. The thing is, this has a solid hubs. I'm hoping I get the hub off. So if you're going to do one side, you do them both. We'll do both sides. So all the other work we did on the differential's fine. Nothing's leaking there. It probably wasn't leaking in the first place. It was probably always this here. Axle seals. I'm going to see if I can get one side to come off. These dust caps are a pain to get off too. I don't have the right tool for that either. You use like a pinch bar. Like at the end of the pinch bar, it curves to the right. And you can get in there and then just pop the cap off. I don't have a pinch bar here. Alright, let me get set up and we'll see if we can get this thing apart. I'm going to have to put it back together. I just wanted to see if I could get the hub to come off. And I'll order the oil seals from Richards Lawn and Garden over in West Virginia there. Okay, so What I had to do here is, with this dust cap, first of all, you gotta have the right mindset to work on these things. Took me a little while. I sprayed some PB Blaster around here. Don't think that did anything. But what I did was, I took this screwdriver and I just kept tapping it and spinning it until the dust cap started to come off. I never took it all the way off yet, but it is coming off. So after that, what I did was I ran the pry bar around, because this is a little thicker than the screwdriver, not by much though. And I just kept tapping it and spinning it and tapping it. And it came out a little bit more. Now I'm able to get this pry bar in here. And you're going to want to work your way around. And just start pressing. You'll press against the hub. It did pop and start coming off. But now that we're on camera, I don't know what's going to happen now. Okay, just want a little more. They're really hard to get off. Okay, went a little more. Just go 180. And just keep on doing this. And then eventually it'll pop off. Had I filmed this whole thing, it would have been a half hour long so far. On just this part alone. I think we're almost there. There we go. Now I know why they went to the non-solid hubs, because all it has is a plastic cap that goes over this nut here. Okay, so I'm going to have to get the air gun set up, and I'm going to take this nut off. Hopefully one of my pullers will work to pull the hub off. So I put this away tonight. I'll leave that dust cap off. I'll tighten this up and pull it back inside. And like I said, I didn't order the seals yet. I just want to show you. We're going to go through the whole motion here of getting to the seal. Okay, so I got the nut off. The nuts are on there pretty tight. You want to make sure they're tight. There's torque specs for everything. So, what you want to do, I got the puller on here. I bought 3 pullers, this large one, a medium size, and a small one at Harbor Freight for about $20 it was. It seems to work pretty good. You want to wear your safety goggles too. Now you should be using what do you call it, impact socket. I could get a metric one out, but I'm going to use this. So in case the socket explodes, you always want to have your safety goggles on. See if I can do this without bumping the camera. And make sure your gun is pointed the right way. Because you want to be in a tightening mode here. And there it goes, it popped off. Yeah, I'm really surprised about these pullers. I don't know how much they are now. I bought them, I don't know, some years ago. Now you want to make sure, I don't know if this one's a splined one or it has a keyway in it. I think these solid ones are splined. Maybe not, I don't know. Yeah, no, this has a keyway in it. Where I just, this is all dirt. Like this all has to be cleaned up before we put the new seal in. But we're not going to worry about that now because we don't have the seals. Okay, so what you want to do is we're going to clean this up really good here. We want to clean everything really good so you don't introduce any dirt and grime into the differential here. I don't know, I'm thinking of taking this off now. And then you're going to want to clean inside the hole here too, real good. Clean everything the best you can. So after I get this cleaned up, we're going to take this flange off here. I'll show you the seal in there. So we're going to have to take this key out anyway because to get the flange off. So I'm going to clean everything real good. I'm even going to clean the spline real good. And we're going to take the this flange off. I don't know. I don't think. Oh, is the seal in the flange? I'm not sure. I never did one of these before on a solid hub. So. All right. So let me get everything cleaned up here. I forgot to show you. I might as well just show you now. To get the key out, easiest way I found, your cutoff pliers here, or dikes or whatever. Everybody has a different name for them. And you just want to, get it on the key, and then you can pull up. And the key will come right off for you. I just want to let you know that. And now I'm going to clean everything up like I said. Okay, so what I did was I degreased everything here on the outside. And I degreased the shaft. And I also took my die grinder with the sanding disc on it, and I just went over it real quick. I'll probably have to clean this up a lot better once I get this flange off here. I don't know, I was thinking about just covering the tractor up outside here instead of putting it all back together until I get the seal. Well, I'll see. There's 4 bolts that hold this flange on here. This was a hard one to figure out. But we do have the differential sealed, and then we'll have the new seal, axle seal. So there's really nothing else to leak here as far as this goes. Everything under the tractor looked dry today, except for this side here where you saw the drops. And I could feel the oil under here. I felt it this time. So. My motto is don't fix it if it isn't broken. But when it comes to these seals, even though the left side's not leaking, we're going to do it anyway, though. Because you know what'll happen. We'll fix this side, then the other side will start leaking. So. Get all the bolts out. I think I just hit the camera. What else is new? Yeah, I got all the bolts out. This might be stuck. I got to see if the gasket's available for this too. Pretty sure that we're gonna have to. I might need a thinner screwdriver to get behind here and pop this off. Oh, there it goes, I think. Well, it's really on there. Who could blame it after 68 years? I wonder how much oil is going to come out of there. I didn't even put a bucket under there or anything. Wow, these are that stuck? Yes, sir. There we go. And here comes all the bearings and stuff. Do we even have to take this off? I guess, I don't know. Well, this shouldn't have came off though. That whole race and everything came out. Alright, I'll deal with that later. The seal's pressed in here. I think you can see it. This has a shim actually. It's not a gasket. It's got a couple of shims. Gets everything shimmed up. So I have to clean this up better. And the seal is here. We'll knock the seal out. Now the solid axle and the other kind of axle that I showed you in a previous video on the 73, it's not a solid axle. These seals are different. If I remember, these seals are smaller. Oh yeah, I can feel the seal in here that the rubber is. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I mean, like I said, after 68 years, you're not going to be able to really see it, but I can feel it with my finger. The seal's dead. So, alright, so I'm going to clean everything up. I'll get back to you as soon as we get the new seals. I'll show you how to press them on. So we got the seals in. This is the price of them here. And I think it was $11 for shipping and handling, because they came from West Virginia here to New Jersey. So okay, so we have all 4 seals. Now the original seal here that I didn't show you before, you see how high it is here? So what they do now is, the Gravely guy told me this 30 years ago, the Gravely guy that used to own the Gravely dealer, he said to double them. So if you double them, it's the same height as that. So another very important thing I want to tell you, I cleaned the inside out here real good where the seals go, and I put a light coat of oil on it, my fingers, on this part. This part here, these are upside down. I just stuck some grease in there so that little spring in there, the retainer spring in there, doesn't come out. Once I install them, I'll put a little oil or grease around the rubber part too. And also what I did was, I cleaned up the shaft real good here. I stuck the shaft back in where the woodruff key goes on top here. We'll hit that in later when we assemble it. I cleaned the flange real good. I was thinking about putting a real light coat of RTV around it I still don't know if I'm going to do that or not. And also the hub here, I cleaned the inside of the hub out real good, and I put a little oil in there. And I also, right around this ridge here is where that dust cap goes on. I cleaned it really good with my whizzer. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a real light coat of anti-seize on there in case it ever has to come apart again. In the spring, this tractor is going to have to come apart again. I just have to pull the wheels off. I want to freshen up the hubs here a little bit. I discussed it with my brother Joe, when we resealed the differential here. And he asked me, he said, you think it's the axle seals? I said, no, usually when the axle seals leak, it leaks all over the inside of the tire. Now, I don't know if that holds true with a solid hub. I did a couple of Gravely's that didn't have solid hubs, and when they leaked on the inside of the tire there. So, alright, so what I'm going to do right now is I'll set the tripod up, and I'll show you how to bang the seals in, and we'll put this side together. And then as far as the other side goes, I'm not going to do it on this video. I think this video went too long already. But in the next video that I put out, I'll show you that I'm doing the other side. I'm going to do it today, but I'm going to just end this video at the end of what we're doing on the right side here. I got to pull this thing out of here. I got the jack under it. So, okay. Okay, so what you want to do is not mess it up. That's what you want to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to start the sealing here. Try to get it as centered as possible with your fingers first. Whatever's sticking up high, just start tapping. And just take your time. You can do yourself a favor and go to Harbor Freight or one of those places there, and you can get a seal installer tool. Or if you have a press, that's even better. With the seal tool consists of, you could put in bearing races too. You could pound them in too. Now you want to find the socket that fits over the seal, but you don't want too big of a socket because you don't want to get stuck inside the you know what I'm talking about. You don't want it to get stuck in here when you're pounding the seal in. So we're going to have to pound the seal in beyond where it seats, because we're going to have to put the other seal in on top of it. And you want to hit along the edge of the seal, because you don't want to mash the seal if you can help it. This is going in pretty crooked, but now it's going in pretty straight. Even though I cleaned the inside of this housing here and I put oil on it, it's still hard to put in, but you'll get it eventually. I'm going to just pound it in without using this extension. You can use the extension though, it makes it easier. But I think I'm going to try it this way first. You don't want to go too far here. Like I said, you got to get the upper seal in there too. Alright, I guess we can start putting this other seal in. It's just so much easier if you have the tool to do this. Always keep checking and make sure you're not really the seal is not cockeyed in there. This and getting the dust cap off is the hardest. It's time and patience is what this is here. Still got a little bit more to go. If you go a little too much, it's not going to hurt. Got to hit it down in here a little bit more. Yeah, this is pretty good. Nothing came apart out on the inside too. The spring and everything stayed in. But like I said, it's a lot better if you so I just put some grease or oil on here before we slide it on the axle here. I went just a hair too much, but that's alright. That's fine. Alright. Alright, so I'll get set up on the ground here and then we'll put it together. Okay, so so I just put the housing, I just laid it on here, and what I did was, two of the shims, they're very skinny shims, are on there already, and then I just took a bolt and I stuck it through the two little shims and the two big shims. I just did that to keep the shims from, so they stay together, and then you're just going to want to, if you don't put all the shims back in, let's say you left that big one out, you can burn the bearings up that way. if I'm lined up with the bolt hole. I think that's it right there. So just remember, you want to lube everything up really good, especially when you're working with the axle seals. Because if you don't put oil on the axle seals, or grease, or anything like that, you could easily mess up the seal. Tell me this thing only goes on one way. I don't think so. Huh. Can't get the bolt started. I think there it goes. Am I picking up the wrong bolt? That's possible. Yeah, I am. Those were the bolts that hold the wheel on. Hopefully that's the only idiotic thing I do today. Okay, so the plan is I'll put this together, put the tire back on, of course, and then what we'll do is I'll let it run for a while. I'm going to put that cardboard under there again, because we saw it start leaking instantly before. So I think I got the right socket here. I'm pretty sure it's a 1/2-inch socket. No need. And just tighten everything up in a crisscross fashion, like I'm doing here. And don't go too crazy trying to tighten these bolts up. Remember, 68 years old. I think we can get away with not using RTV on this. I'm pretty sure. I don't think it'll leak. Never came with any gaskets in the first place. It only came with those shims that I showed you. Let me go around one more time just for I want the video to be a half hour long. I don't like going over a half hour, but I think we're way over a half hour here with this. Not really sure. Alright, so I took the woodruff key and I cleaned it really, really good. You still might have to tap it with the hammer a little bit, but I don't think so. Here. I think it's good. As long as you clean everything up, everything should go together pretty easy. You might want to take a torque wrench and torque everything, but I don't. My torque wrench is broke anyway, but I just tighten these tight and that's it. These are not nylock nuts. Okay, so I wasn't prepared for the dust cap. The only thing I have is metal hammer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the anti-seize around here. And then I'm going to take the cap and set it on there. I'll take a piece of wood, block of wood, and I'll just tap this thing, the dust cap on. You'll probably end up being a pain to get off anyway, no matter what you do. You know what? You notice the compressor kicked on? So I just want to make sure it's good enough. This tractor hardly goes anywhere anymore. Hard going on, hard coming off. Crazy. I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, should be alright. Alright, so, you know, you don't have to see me put the tire back on. I'm going to put the tire back on, let this thing run for about 20 minutes, a half hour, and I still have to babysit the governor. I don't know if I fixed it. If any of you Gravely guys that have these Model Ls, think that I fixed it by moving that spring and lever all the way out to the left side. I don't know, maybe it was set too sensitive, I'm not sure. But so I'll be back to you, and then we're going to close here finally. Sorry, it might be a little loud. Okay, so it's dry. I just walked it around here. I didn't put the sulky on or nothing. I walked it around the yard. I let it run for about a half hour and it's dry. One thing I'm noticing is with these solid hubs, it seems like the tire is out further than the ones with the non-solid hubs. So maybe that's why the non-solid hubs leave an oil slick on the inside of the tire here. That's what it looks like. I don't have one out here right now, but I'm going to check and see if that was the case, why it wasn't leaking on the tire. But I hope you got something out of this. I'm sorry the video's so long. I'm pretty sure it's pretty long, but like I said, in the next Gravely video or any video I make, I'll show you that I'm doing the left side too, because I don't believe in just doing the right side, not the left side, because the left side's not leaking, but we're gonna do it. So thanks for watching, everybody. I just hit 1,800 subscribers. I appreciate you all. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next one, and take care.